Have you or your friends ever had a hard time deciding where to eat? Have you ever had a friend take you to a new restaurant in your neighborhood and you wondered how you had never noticed it before? Have you ever seen a restaurant that you have wanted to try and then forgot about it later? DishPlease is here to help with all of these problems and more. DishPlease is a food review app that allows you to discover new restaurants, connect with people you know, and track where you've been. Because our project was quite involved, we chose 5 team members: Mason Muir, Max Baer, Zach Barton, Matt Perry, and Brandon Jacobson. According to this survey taken of over 400 college students in our target audience, 60% of our target audience is not trying new restaurants very often. Only 17% try more than one new restaurant a month. Yet studies show that 56% of Americans dine out 2 to 3 times a week. So where are people eating? So many people are stuck in a rut, eating at the same restaurants and sticking to what they are already familiar with, even if those restaurants are good or bad. The reality is that there are great restaurants all around us. Even if you don't live in Paris, DishPlease can turn everyday life into an adventure as you discover new food experiences with the people you love. In our user interviews, it became apparent that trust in food recommendations was very important. One user said, "I would rather go somewhere my friend told me about than a Yelp review from a million randos." DishPlease provides more trust than its alternatives of Google and Yelp. Let's consider the pain point of deciding on a new restaurant to go to. When trying to find a new restaurant, most people resort to Google searches that tend to favor the same well-known and well-reviewed restaurants every time. When users finally identify a restaurant that interests them, they are then left to sort through a mountain of online reviews left by strangers on Yelp or Google. These reviews can often be contradictory or lead users to question the author's motives. Restaurants even offer incentives for customers to leave a 5-star review on Yelp or Google, adding another layer of complexity to the already ambiguous reviews. JustPlease will become a platform for users to go to, where they can regularly find reviews from an intimate personal network of people they know and trust.
We will now talk about our user outcomes and how DishPlease will positively impact its users. Qualitative data from our interviews taught us that people are skeptical of Yelp and Google reviews. They think many of these reviews are incentivized or even manufactured by restaurant owners. DishPlease reviews are from family members and close friends. Users can trust the reviews to be authentic. People also want to keep track of what restaurants they have tried and where they want to go in the future. Many people already keep lists of restaurants on other apps. DishPlease lets users create custom lists to categorize their favorite eats and never forget about a good place. DishPlease makes eating a social experience. People want to eat where their friends are eating, and they want to share their finds with others. DishPlease allows users to connect with friends through food by sharing reviews. Connecting with your friends and family makes DishPlease fun. Reviews and pictures are personal and meant to be shared with people you know.
We chose to work on this project because of similar social review apps such as Letterboxd, which is for movies, and Goodreads, which is for books. Letterboxd in particular was a great source of inspiration as it added an extra layer of enjoyment to the movie watching experience. Another app that's trying to break into the social restaurant review space is Belly. They are gaining traction on the East Coast, but have yet to claim a market share in the West. Their UI is a bit cluttered, and we believe we can make DishPlease serve our users more effectively. We have a Figma that incorporates more of our design ideas, but with limited time and resources, we had to narrow down which features were the most important to include. The profile page's main goal is to summarize what a user has done on the app. We have a quick stats at the top for a quick view and the 2 tabs including their reviews and their lists. The home feed is a place to browse and explore. You can search restaurants and view the recent reviews. It is fun to see where your friends have been and find new places to go. The review creation process is designed to be fun and engaging, allowing you to honestly share how you feel about a restaurant. We will now share a live demo of a real user using the app. We will highlight the places for improvement as well as how we are achieving our goals during this demo. So here we see the user has logged in and is going to start a review process. The location has been shared with the app, so it can automatically pull up and use the Google API to pull up restaurants near them. As you can see also, they are able to both take pictures, either front or back camera, as well as use pictures that are in camera roll if they are going to do a review of something that they took a picture of but forgot to make the review of before. There have been a couple glitches with the app, so sometimes the picture doesn't save correctly. It moves on and asks if it recommends it and to give it a rating. We try to have the process be more fun and engaging, so we wanted to think more about the emojis as a way to quantify those results rather than a typical star rating of 1 to 5. Now that this is up, you can see on the homepage there's popular places this month, and we're now going into a restaurant page where it gives stats and information about the restaurant. It's clearly having issues loading the pictures, and the user also wanted to scroll left back to get back to the previous screen, which they were unable to do. So that's something we'll have to fix in the future. And this is the home feed where they can see different friends and people that have used the app, what their recent reviews of different restaurants are. Many of these reviews came during testing, and so they weren't at a place where they could find pictures of food, so they just took a selfie. So that was a great success. Here I believe the user is going to use the buttons at the top to add to their favorites and dish list. You can also add to eaten, and you can actually create a review of a restaurant straight from that button as well. Toggling that button will add it to the user profile's eaten list, as well as toggling the favorites will add it to the favorites list, where you can keep track of all those things that you've been doing. I believe they're going to create another review here, just to give you another experience using the app. Going to Chomburger. If you don't do the restaurant first, it will delete the picture after. So that was a bug that we were running into that we didn't realize until we had deployed and started testing, that many people ran into that issue. So that's something that we're going to resolve in the future. It sometimes can take a little bit. We believe this is a test flight issue, but it can take a while to post to the home feed. The popular places this month is a really cool feature that just shows the most reviewed places, and you can actually click into the review and zoom in on different parts of that picture that was incorporated there. You can actually click on the lists in that area and get taken to this page where it actually shows the places that you have in your lists. Your dish list, places you want to go, favorites, those are your favorite places, and eaten, which is places that you've been before. So, and then you can easily search for different restaurants in the search bar page. And you can tell the user really wanted to swipe left to get back to the home page. And so we're going to have to incorporate a feature that incorporates that a little bit more. This is just another way to search restaurants. You can do it from the home page or from the search bar. And as you can tell, it pulls from the Google Places API to generate different images that are in that database?
We decided to use Flutter and Amplify and the Google Places API as our main resources for development. Flutter is a mobile app development technology we utilized to create this app because of its cross-platform capabilities and abilities to ultimately customize and make with code. A codable app, as opposed to something that's drag and drop, would allow this app to ultimately be more customizable since we have total control over how the app behaves. It was also the recommended technology by Dr. Little for mobile development and is easier than similar mobile app frameworks with a lot of community support. Amplify is essentially Amazon Web Services' suite of service packages into one admin panel that makes app development along with all of its services and components easily bundled into one studio application. We are all fans of AWS services and have been using them since earlier on in the IS program. Amplify felt like a no-brainer with how easy working with data is, how easily one can set up an API, storage, authentication, predictions, machine learning, and other options. On top of that, it will provide us the ability to scale the app to work for many different people across the globe because of the ease of scaling AWS instances to many different regions and locations around the world. Thus, the foundation is laid for everyone on the globe to use our app. The Places API makes it easy for us to gain reliable information on real-world locations around the world. We easily use the Places API to populate our database, which builds our data and contributes to our users being able to get any restaurant on demand. In order to evaluate the effectiveness of our app, we collected users from people we knew in our target demographic. Most of these people were from ages 22 to 27. We had them download the app and fill out a survey. The survey walked the user through a variety of tasks. The first task was to leave a review on Yelp. The goal was to do an A/B test to compare between Yelp and DishPlease. We asked them questions that assessed their confidence and the amount of fun they were having, as well as ease of use. The next task was to leave a review on DishPlease. We asked similar questions to compare the outcomes in each of these areas. Next, we had them search the app to look for a friend or someone else with similar interests. We asked them questions that answered the outcome of connection. Finally, we had them browse the rest of the app. We did this in order to measure their ability to keep track and find restaurants, and also ask open-ended questions for feedback to ways we can improve the app. After surveying our users, we analyzed some of the data. We'll take a look at several of these questions and evaluate the ability of our app to achieve the core outcomes. The first question is, leaving a review on DishPlease was uncomfortable. The goal of this question was to evaluate confidence and honesty. We discovered that for most individuals, they disagreed with this statement. We found that it was easy for our users to create a review and that they felt confident in that process. The second question is, my interactions with DishPlease were clear and understandable. The responses here were more varied, with some bugs in our app, but we discovered that most people still were confident in using our app. The third question is, I could easily find a restaurant on DishPlease. We wanted to test record keeping and the ability for users to keep track of where they've been. This question, the results indicated that most people found it easy to find a restaurant and keep track of their data. The second to last question we will look at is, I would be likely to use DishPlease again for myself, regardless if my friends were using it. With mixed results here, and comparing to the next question, which is, I would be likely to use DishPlease again if all my friends used it, we discovered that the app would be more successful if more people's friends were on the app and connected to them. In user testing, we noticed a few limitations in our app. The first is with acquiring users. We learned that it is hard for users to jump on the app and use it if their friends are not there. And if their friends are not there, then they can't create the social network. So in order to do that, our app has to offer something to these users that will get them to stay without their friends. The other thing that goes along with that is that it's easy for lurkers to stay hidden. Since there's no way to discover users easily, the lurkers who don't leave reviews will stay hidden and not connect with other individuals. And then finally, our other limitation, which is more of a technology limitation, is the Places API is not perfect in its search. It is effective, but it misses out on some locations, and especially if you want to get to a specific location that is far away from where you are, it is harder to locate that. As part of this, we have developed a path forward if we were to continue. The first step in this path would be to improve the functionality. There are a lot of bugs in our app that make it so that it doesn't work as expected. For example, the review creation first screen, needs a lot of updates, has a lot of bugs with adding images and selecting the restaurant, which we are focusing on making it work towards the end and landed where it is. It still needs a lot of work. Another bug there are a lot of images that don't load, so more dynamic image rendering in order for the app to be more usable. As far as new features to implement in what we evaluated from user testing is the first is social connectivity. People want to follow their friends on the app. They want to see what their friends are doing. And the other part of that is the customization. People have requested that they can change their profile picture, edit their location, and then also filter more accurately. As far as lessons learned, first, all people love food, and actually they want to share their experiences. This was something that a lot of us didn't understand, and that not just foodies and critics want to leave reviews. People actually want to share with their friends. Another part of the lessons we learned is that people in every demographic try to record the restaurants they want to visit in the future and restaurants they have loved in the past. There's no easy way to share these lists. We've talked to people who've done it on Google Maps or in their notebooks or journals, but there's no easy way to do that. Finally, with a social network app, they requires a certain number of users for it to be worthwhile for new users to get on. And as discussed previously, we need to provide a way for these users to feel connected to the app without other people on it so that more users can join and be a part of the experience.
We had several key takeaways working as a team this semester, a couple of which are focusing on core milestones to help accelerate our development process. This really came into play as we realized that certain core features needed to be prioritized in the form of smaller milestone goals that we would set at each sprint. That was something that we started doing a little later on and helped us to really get moving with different parts of the development that were taking longer than we expected. Vision competes with time is a huge one because we had this huge vision of what we wanted to accomplish with our app. We had so many different ideas and we thought we had narrowed it down enough for the time that we had, and we just didn't realize how wrong we were in our time estimation of the project. And so we had to adjust our vision with the time and capabilities that we had at the time. That kind of just brings us to the next point of learning AWS Amplify and Flutter was a huge learning curve for all of us, as both of these tools were relatively new for everyone. And so it took us a while to really get in the groove to really start developing well. And the last team thing is that as we encountered different group dynamics that were difficult, it wasn't just, at the beginning that we figured everything out and we were good. We constantly had to reevaluate ourselves as a team so that we could develop and go forward. And we went through the forming, storming, norming, and performing process several times. And all in all, we really just enjoyed learning in our capstone and had a lot of great experiences and a lot of fun as a team. So we really did enjoy our time.